I think I got my swagger back.
It hit him! Every pirate! Right now, baby!
And welcome to the podcast, Filthy Philistines. It's great to be here on the late edition of the Filthy Philistines podcast. I'm your host, Austin, with my co-host, Matt. How you doing, buddy?
What's up? Better late than never. It is here, the first time ever. We are live, kind of, I guess. What I mean by live is we're watching Thursday Night Football, and there's touchdowns in it. And so, hey, let's go. So you might hear a reaction if we have an Olave touchdown, a DeAndre Hopkins touchdown. We'll figure out what happens. But we're doing what we can do. Landon, you can stop smack talking us in the Slack channel.
Be nice. And here's what happens. If a Taysom Hill touchdown happens during this podcast, we both have to take a shot of our laundry detergent.
We take off our clothes.
Well, this isn't a video pod yet, so I don't think that matters too much. Well, you know what? My instant reaction to Week 6 is that football is different. Football just feels different. It's about good defenses, good special teams, and good running game. There are, I think, over 100 less points this year than there were at this point last year, which is crazy. So, dude, I think it's a good year to have some stud running backs, I believe. For sure.
One of my favorite podcasters who does stuff for the NFL, he says the NFL is like is one strange lady. It's a weird game with an odd-shaped ball. Anything can happen. Tons of points one week, no points the next week. NFL is one strange lady.
Speaking of strange ladies,
oh yeah,
you want to give out some rewards?
Oh, yes. I want to give out some awards. We have a lot of good awards. We're going to start with none other than the Weenie Hut Jr.'s Weenie of the Week.
Weenie? What? But I'm not a weenie. I'm sorry, sir, but my sensors indicate that you are indeed a weenie.
Weenie Hut Jr.!
Nice. That sounded just like it.
All right, and the Weenie Hut Jr. Weenie of the Week, making his second time on with this award.
Hey, I know how it feels, buddy. I know how it feels.
Alex Dawson with a very, very low 97 points. Your second time here. Man, you had an incredible week, brother. Let's just talk about it a little bit. You had, let's see, you started James Robinson. That didn't work out for you. Taysom Hill, you put him up there. Said maybe he'll give me 30 points again. Nah, he gave you 4 points. Who else you started? You started Kenny Pickett. He didn't make it the whole game, brother. Mike Evans disappointed. DK Metcalf, 5.4 points. Just wasn't your week. In a week that was low scoring, man, you had the lowest score. So congrats on your second time winning the Weenie Hut Jr. Weenie of the Week.
Hey, I will say this. Despite all the hate that Alex is getting in this moment, you know who his leading scorer was for this week, Matt?
Yes, I do.
It's the captain. It's the captain. Captain Kirk Cousins with 16.5 points. He's the top 8 quarterback in the National Football League.
I got a question. You're engaged to be married, right? So, yes. Do you think Brandy loves you as much as Alex loves Kirk Cousins?
Legitimately, absolutely not. Because I don't think Alex is a committed lover. But he has the potential. I think he likes Kirk Cousins a lot. I think he should try a little bit more. He's too focused on his plays, too focused on his school. Commit to Kirk Cousins, Alex.
I think
take him on a date.
Alex is not in love with Kirk Cousins. He's just in lust with him. He's in lust with those primetime game
What?
I don't know what I'm going to say.
We're going to move on to the before this gets taken down on YouTube. It's time for the dog of the week.
Dog. Dog. He's a dog. Man, dog is a dog. Absolutely.
The dog of the week this week, the lowest dog of the week in Filthy Philistine podcast history. Alton Moreland, 146.7 points. He came out and balled when everyone else did not ball. Actually, funny point, last week we brought up that the league average going into last week, or after last week, was 150. Our dog of the week was below the league average, so this has just been a weird week of football. But Big Al balled out, and I'm just going to bring up one player. It's Tyreek Hill, and I don't understand how this happens. I thought Tyreek Hill wasn't even going to play this week. And I thought to myself, if I had Tyreek Hill in any league, I don't know if I would play him because I'd be concerned about the injury. I'm glad Big Al did it because Big Al took down Tivich. Tyreek Hill just balled out, and Big Al won the dog of the week by 1 point. Tim Bullard had 145.9. I mean, he was really close. He had the Joey Burrow and Stephon Diggs combo. Joe Burrow came alive in New Orleans like he always does, and Stephon Diggs had that sweet revenge game against the Chiefs. So, Matt, let's just skippity hop, like a little frog, over to some good and or bad start-sit decisions.
All right, well, I'm going to take the good. And I only found one good, and this is none other than Austin Tate, the Bears.
The best.
Starting Ramondre Stevenson over Najee Harris. I mean, I think I would have made the same decision, but here's what I'm thinking. Najee Harris is a big name, right? People like to just start your studs, right? Najee's a stud. He wasn't a stud this week. Ramondre had 25.1 points, the RB2 on the week, and he used that RB2 on the week to bring an L to your guy right here. So, hey, congrats on the good call, brother.
Is what it is. And that's 2 weeks in a row that Tate is making that decision to bench Najee. Both, paying off, but that does not feel good. That was the second overall pick in our draft, Najee Harris.
Yeah, it's a good call, but a bad call draft day. But you got to change your strategy. You can't just start what was going on back in August, who you thought was great. It's October. Everything has changed.
Everything has changed. Let's talk about some bad. This was a bad week of football, so I don't really want to highlight too many people because I think we all I just think there wasn't like many good options out there. But Tim, only 0.8 points away from being the dog of the week, but he had Mac Jones and at quarterback who is not playing, who was a big goose, and he easily would have been a dog of the week if he put in any other human on his team. Tim Bullard, you're not listening. I know you're not, but wake up. Out your sleep. You almost lost to the 0-6 scantily clad dads because you decided to play someone who was not playing.
I think we need to throw some more trash on Tim. Just saying, Mac Jones was doubtful all week. All week. No one thought he was playing. Tim had him in his offensive player spot. So this is proof that Tim is not checking his lineup. This is my thought. I don't think Tim's checking his lineup. I reached out to Tim about some trades. He said he'll get back to me. He got back to me like 6 days later, and yeah. So I don't know. I mean that's just a pretty bad move on a former champion to do something like that. Disappointing.
Interesting. And Tivich benching Brandon Ayuk. I thought the Ayuk was the good play this week. I think the matchup was juicy. But if playing Ayuk would have put him as the dog of the week and the victor in his matchup, putting him in that 4-2 mark. There's not many 4-2 teams left, as you know, Matt. So that was a costly decision. But it's not like the worst decision of all time. Brandon Ayuk is not a fantasy stud, but you got to play week by week. You got to see the matchups, and it was a tough decision, and then he got the wrong end of it.
But your guy started J.K. Dobbins over Brandon Ayuk, 1.5 points. He started Drake London over Brandon Ayuk, 7 points. He even started guys who you normally would, Gabe Davis, A.J. Brown, but all of those guys were outperformed by Brandon Ayuk. And in fact,
was the wide receiver 4. And here's my concern, Matt. We're talking about
Brandon Ayuk outscored Josh Allen. Man, It's a call. It would have been a bold move, but maybe not to start him over London or J.K. Dobbins. I think he probably should have been in there in place of those guys. The other guys, I totally understand. But hey, you live and you learn.
He snagged him on the waivers, and I thought, okay, he's going to play Ayuk, and I thought he did. I saw Ayuk balling out, and I'm like, oh, good thing Tivich grabbed him. He probably played him. He did not. Matt, it's so exciting. Every 3 weeks, we redo the power rankings to maybe see if there's any change in the way we are thinking. So I would love to do that. Now, remember, the power rankings are determined by Matt, Landon, and I. And us three, we do not rank ourselves in these. So where there's only 2 data points on us 3, everyone else gets all 3 data points. So, Matt, you start with the even.
As we go into this, Austin, how powerful do you feel? And we're doing the power rankings.
On a power scale, I'm feeling 6. 6 on the power,
Nice. Power scale. I love it. So, coming in at number 10, and this person's just going to be at number 10 all year, I think. So, that's Sierra, scantily clad dads, 0-6. Rough start. I don't know. This might be... Is this worse than what Shirley's team was last year?
No. I don't think... No, Shirley's team was really, really bad. Like,
I'm just saying,
I would take this team in a heartbeat.
I agree player wise, but I didn't know, like, did Shirley ever win a game?
I have no idea.
We got to go back.
If she did. If she did something. She won really early before she traded all of her players away.
I just got to say quickly, that matchup that she had with Tim was ridiculous. It was literally down to overtime. She lost by 1 point. She was in it. So this is the most exciting she's been for fantasy because she thought she had a good day. And she did. She had Jamar Chase, who did great. Trevor Lawrence did great. Players who were underperforming for her the past couple weeks. And we were watching that last game, and Herbert only got her 7 points. She also had Melvin Gordon, who mysteriously got benched. And then Brandon McManus. So she needed just 1 point from any of those guys from the fourth quarter on, and got 0 points from any of them fourth quarter on. And there was the overtime session. It was rough. She was so mad. We were watching it, and once it went to overtime, she's like, I'm done. I'm not going to get up. I'm like, yes, you are. But she was right. She went to bed.
She was right.
She didn't. Anyways.
Mama's always right, brother.
Mama's always right. Sorry, you're number 10. Number 9, go ahead, hit that one up, man.
I disagree with your take on Sierra being 10 the rest of the year. Number 9, Tim Bullard. I haven't liked the roster all year, and I've been putting Tim Bullard at the bottom of most of my power rankings. With the effort and the look of his roster right now, I think he's primed for a 10th spot here soon. He does have Joe Burrow, who's been just good all year. He finally had a great game. Stephon Diggs, that's keeping him afloat. Stephon Diggs is keeping him afloat. Joe Burrow, if he has a great day, can sneak him a win like what happened this week. I hope Tim Bullard flips the switch. He's one of the best fantasy players we have. He's a past champion, but is what it is. Matt, move on to number 8.
Number 8 is the Jonathan Mintz. Alex Dossett his ranking is number 8. His record is 2-4. And I think there's a correlation between some of these bottom teams. I'm looking here at the rankings, at the standings, and I see the amount of moves that they make. Austin, you want to guess who's made the least amount of moves in the league so far this year?
It's not. I don't think it's Sierra.
Nope.
Is it?
Nope.
Is it? It's obviously Alex.
Alex Dossett and Tim Bullard are tied with how many moves? How many transactions have they made this year?
Do they have one?
It is transactions plural.
They each have 2.
They each have 2 moves. I think that's a correlation to why you're ranking so low. You guys got to shake it up. Make some moves. Number 7. What do you got?
Let's bring it up a little bit. I think this is a big tier jump. Big Al at 7 after having the dog of the week. We need to put some respect on Big Al, but it's just we're kind of seeing how the roster's shaping out. I think Big Al can be a climber for the next set. He has Tyreek and Pat Mahomes. Those are 2 alphas on his team. Now he has the guy, Ken Walker, who has all the opportunity in the world, all the talent in the world, and is on a decent offense. I mean, we were surprised by the Seahawks offense. So I think Big Al can make some climbs here. He's 3-3 right now. 7 feels low for me, but also I think there's no great team right now in our league. I think everyone's fighting. I think it's a pretty even fight right now.
I like this ranking for him personally, because I think the Marquise Brown injury really hurts him. I think that's a big deal for him because Marquise Brown was rolling, so he was rolling with him and Tyreek Hill, and also like Carson Wentz being out kind of hurts. Like Carson Wentz has been awful, but he's still been great for fantasy. Like he's probably I think he's like the quarterback. He's the quarterback 11 on the year, so he's been doing good. In a 2 QB league, having that as your second quarterback, that's good. So I like this ranking for Alton. Coming in at number 6, we have Logan Tomanovich. Number 6, you're 3-3. You have some dynamic players, Josh Allen, Gabe Davis, who can go off, but it's been a little inconsistent. And then you also have had some bad injuries with Javonte Williams, and that's been rough too. So I understand this ranking. I like it where it's at. Need some players to perform a little bit better. JK is going to be rough for you, but you also have some guys who are awesome too, like Damian Pierce and Saquon Barkley. So it's kind of in the middle there. Anything can happen with that team. He could be number 1 next time we do this, or he could be at the bottom. I'd be surprised to see him at the bottom. But you know, he's got some great players, but I like this ranking right here.
You also have Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's back from injury, and he had an extra. He was going to come back last week, but it was the bye, so he had an extra week to heal up. If he can kind of pick up that Javonte Williams slack that's on his team, that'll be big. Coming in at number 5, we have 2018 league participant Landon Brooks. He's not going to be happy about that. Being 4-2, he's the top of his division right now, which is your division, Matt. That's your fault. Coming in at number
malicious 5 Moabites, that's our name.
Coming in at number 5 when you're at the top of your division is kind of controversial, but I don't love the team right now. It's a lot better. I think his team got a lot better than it was last week. Last week I was kind of scared for Landon, but he came up with a big win against a good team, and his team's looking a little bit better. I think Russell Wilson has had great first halves and then horrible second halves of seasons over the past few years, except for last year with the injury. Maybe this is a year where he has a bad first half and then a good second half of the year, in which case that's going to make Landon a top 3 team instantly. Davante Adams, I don't think he's going to get in trouble. I don't think he's going to get suspended. So once I think this week, so the bye was last week. This week, I think Davante Adams is back in. You got Mark Andrews, who is the tight end 1, in my opinion. Still, you can't convince me otherwise. He's going to be the 1 by the end of the year.
Besides the fact that he's the tight end 2 right now.
I said by the end of the year. And Austin Eckler coming alive. It's a PPR league, so it's even better. Man, but yeah, I agree. I kind of like the 5 ranking. You need A.J. Dillon to come alive. You need Russell Wilson to come alive. You need Deontay Johnson to wake up. You need Christian Kirk to wake. You need a lot of good things to happen, but it's not impossible. So, Matt, who's the next handsome fella on that list, boy?
Number 4 is Austin Ewells, the George Costanzas, and I think this is a good ranking too. I could see you being higher too. You have some good players on your team, man. And you have some guys who are trending up, like Breece Hall. Every single week's getting better. You have Olave, who's doing great. Like, you have players who are gaining momentum. Lenny Fournette is just catching so many balls right now. So I mean, I feel like this is a solid ranking for you. I think everyone is pretty tight within this like upper tier of players, and so I think it's pretty tough. And actually, to be fair, I think you and Landon were both tied in your ranking. Like, it was when I averaged it out, you guys both had like 3.5 or something. But I went with whatever my ranking was the one that changed it. So I had you ranked higher than Landon, and I always just like to kind of put my thumb down on Landon. So, anyways, but yeah, man, I think you have a fantastic team. And it'll be exciting to see what happens. Are you afraid of Christian McCaffrey being traded? Yes, you want it to happen. No, you don't want it to happen. What do you think?
Who's the worst team in football right now?
Panthers.
Yeah, I'd rather him be not on the worst team in football, and he's the running back 3 on
But
the
it
worst team in
might
football.
set you back a couple weeks or something, you know. You can endure it to see what happens.
Man, Christian McCaffrey, Josh Allen, cutting it up in
Like
the kitchen.
If he goes there to the Rams, you're just going to lose your mind. Be happy with that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice. Nice. All right, tell me about number 3.
Number 3, hey, this guy's pretty ugly, but he's decent at fantasy football at times.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. Can I try to talk trash one time and now I feel guilty instantly. Matt, you're beautiful. Matt, you are at number 3. Coming off a loss. Coming off at a 111 score.
I know.
But again, I was just looking at you and Landon last week and I was worried. But it's just crazy how fastly things change in fantasy football. I think Tom Brady is on the up and up. I think he's really going to turn it around. I'm never going to doubt Tom Brady until he's out. So I think Tom Brady is going to turn it around. Michael Pittman, he's the guy for the Colts, and I think the Colts offense is on the way up. The Colts always start off slow. David Njoku is a legit tight end. And are you worried about what's going to happen when Deshaun Watson comes back? David Njoku is your guy for tight end.
Well, so I feel like I have 2 options. So I have Njoku, and I'm not really worried about that. I feel like he'll be solid the rest of the year. But also, watch Schultz. Dak and Schultz have such a great connection. Cooper did not throw to his tight end. He only throws to outside receivers. He doesn't play the middle of the field. Dak loves his tight end, so I would expect that same type of production that Schultz had last year to happen when Dak starts this week. Right now, so I feel like this ranking is a little generous for me. 3-3 being number 3 is pretty high.
No. If you look at your roster right now, I didn't get to the best part.
Okay.
This week, this is why you look so much better, because this week you have back Derrick Henry, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Hopkins, DeAndre Swift. Completely changes you. I think you're a top 2 team. I don't think you're a 3. I think you're a top 2.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if Allen or Swift, one of those guys, is not playing. If not both of them.
But when you look at your roster with those 4 added in, that changes everything.
If they're all healthy, Hopkins is doing good right now. 16.5 points for me already, so I'm digging that. Let's go on to number 2. Enough about me. It's Tyler Chance, still at number 2. I thought this was going to be close. And to me, I think if anyone's trending down a little bit, Tyler, he's had 2 losses since the last power rankings. So he was 3-0. Now he's 4-2. And he's made a controversial move. I don't know if you know about this. My guy has made a controversial move in being 3-1, having a winning season, and changing his name in the middle of the season.
That's tough.
He was Wonder Wharf, the longest chart, a reference to Bob's Burgers. And now he's changed it to a reference to an old story that we're not going to get into this episode. Maybe a later episode we'll get into called Help Napkin. I'll explain it later, not this episode again. But I think that it is a reference specifically about me, actually a quote from me, which just shows you a little bit of something. This league is obsessed with me. Like, you guys can't get enough of me. Everything, you guys just turn it. I'm the 2-time champion. You know, you guys make me into the villain. There's a name after me.
You are the villain.
I don't know why you guys are so obsessed
Your championships
with me.
are on the backs of other players or other teams.
Yeah, everyone's
from the
championships
players.
on the back of other players. I don't play the game, dude. What do you play the
No,
game?
I'm talking about you. Bogus trade alert.
There's no bogus trades when they get called through. If it's a trade, it's a trade. You have the same opportunity to make it. You just didn't because you don't manage like I do.
Oh my gosh, this is why you stink. Oh.
Anyways, Tyler's number 2. Let's talk some good on him. He did make a controversial move, but Josh Jacobs is actually playing like everyone thought he would when he came in. He's playing great. Travis Kelce, the tight end 1 on the season, and he will continue to be the tight end 1. Dominating. Tyler Lockett is playing really well too. He's got Daniel Jones, which isn't bad. Alvin Kamara, he has right now. I mean, he's got some good players. And obviously, Jefferson, he's on bye, but he's doing good too. Lamar's had a couple slow weeks, which I think has been part of the issue, as Lamar's not performing the last couple weeks like he has been. But, Tyler, you're number 2. Austin, let us know who number 1 is.
Number 1, it's hard not to keep this guy at number 1. He's the best team in the league on paper still. 5-1, 1 loss. It's the Bears. It's Austin Tate. He's still got the studs there. Jalen Hurts, Cooper Kupp. And he's just sneaking in guys like Ramondre Stevenson, who is going to be an absolute smash start all the way until Damien Harris comes back, and then he'll still be a good flex play when Damien Harris is there. How scary is this team, Matt, if Najee Harris is like actually going to be good?
I think it's scary. Here's the thing: as I'm seeing this team, and I think it's not as scary as it was before. I think there's big questions with Jalen Waddle, Tua coming back. You don't know how that's going to come, how that's going to happen, what's going to happen with that. I'm just not for sure. Geno Smith had a rough week or so. I don't know. I think it's strong, but it's maybe not as strong. I don't think he's as far ahead as everyone else, like I thought he was a couple weeks ago.
Right, but he's got a guy like Devin Singletary that I think should be an every week start. So if you're scared of Curtis Samuel, be scared. Throw him on your bench. Put in Devin. I think he's got enough depth to where I think he'll be fine. Yeah, I do agree. He's not as scary as he was maybe the last time we did power rankings. Last time we did power rankings, I'm like, oh my goodness. But Aaron Jones isn't getting the opportunities he should. But Aaron Rodgers said we need to simplify the game plan. Simplify the game plan means give the ball to Aaron Jones. Matt just had a reaction to the game. What happened?
Oh, DeAndre Hopkins just he almost made a one-handed catch. He went up and he missed it. Then he got drilled, and I thought he was hurt, but he's not. So I got really, there's a lot of emotions. Like, oh, something awesome happened, it didn't, and then something terrible happened, but it didn't.
We are currently FaceTiming, so I saw Matt just have this look of fear. Like, I'm like, yeah, someone definitely just got hurt, but no, it did not happen.
All right, hey, let's talk about some climbing. So, tell me who's climbing, obviously.
Oh, I don't want to talk about this. You talk about this, loser.
Wow. Oh, hey.
I'm just kidding. Matt is climbing. Last time we did the power rankings, he was number 8, and he climbed all the way up to number 3. And it's because last time your team was injured, and this time your team is not. You've had a good team this whole way. Normally you're bad at drafting. This year you did a pretty decent job at drafting. So your team's healthy, and number 3 spot, I think you're even higher than number 3. I'm not even going to lie.
Awesome.
I'm not even going to lie to you.
Hey, we have some people who have been steady the whole time. Sierra, you've been coming in at number 10 at the bottom, every time.
Good job. Hey, consistency is a good thing.
Consistency. She's got that bye-week energy. You know when you play her, it's an automatic dub. It doesn't matter. Landon, you've been number 5 every single time. Been steady right there. I'm sure you want to be better. Tate's been 1 or 2 every single time. And Tyler's been steady at 2 the last couple times. So those are our steady people. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who is falling, Austin?
Not really a huge fall, but we like to keep it in the kind of the analyzation of the power rankings. Stevenson went from 4 to 6, which isn't really that much of a jump. But hey, maybe next time we do this, you'll be back up to 4, or maybe even higher, or heck, maybe even lower. Matt, can you please help these losers try to win a championship?
Ooh, let me help you win a championship. So here's the deal. I don't know if you knew this, Austin, but we play in a keeper league. Have you ever heard about that before?
No.
Yeah, so it's like you get to choose 3 players, and you get to keep them for the next year, right?
Whoa.
So it's basically a dynasty league where you're keeping every single player. So every single transaction you need to consider their age. Like, do you really want a 30-year-old wide receiver, even though the 30-year-old wide receiver is the wide receiver number 4? No, you don't want him. You would rather take that shot on the 22-year-old wide receiver who is on the practice squad. You want to make sure that you stash all of them and bench those players. If they're over 30, you don't want them on your roster. You always want to be considering next year. You never want to go all in for this year. So remember, value keepers over everything. Don't trade for older players. They're worthless even if they're balling out. That's how you win the championship this year.
Dang. That's how you stay so good. Oh my goodness. All right, Filthy Philistines. The Thursday night game's happening right now. We want to go back to watch it, so we're going to get the heck out of here. I hope that Kyler Murray runs into touchdown and Chris Olave catches 5 more balls and one of them in the end zone. Peace out, Girl Scouts. Have a wonderful week.